Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we are diving into one of the absolute most asked about topics when coming to moving to the Sarasota, Florida and surrounding area, and that is waterfront living. But not like the travel touristy thing alone. What I want to focus on is real livable places where you can actually buy a home, maybe walk to the beach if you're lucky, and just kind of get integrated in that day-to-day lifestyle of the town as a whole. There are a lot of different types of coastal living around this part of Southwest Florida, and depending on what you really value, maybe it's quiet, maybe it's vibrant, historic charm, it could be more on the modern condo side, golf, walkability, etc. It's going to push you in a different direction. So in today's video, I want to walk you through the 7 main spots on or near the water, what each one kind of feels like, the general vibe of the lifestyle, who they're really for in my opinion, even what kind of home prices you're going to run into from a median perspective in 2025. I hope you enjoy the take. If we have not met, my name is Adam Hancock. If I can assist you in the Southwest Florida market with any of your residential real estate needs, please consider reaching out. Without further ado, let's hop in. All right, number 1 on my list, we are going to start at the southern end of the coastal lineup with a place called Manasota Key. Probably one of the quietest spots on the list, by far the most underdeveloped. Manasota has this kind of incredibly laid back, almost hidden feel to it. Winding roads, heavy tree cover, just very little overall commercial development. There's not really a proper downtown district. Most of what's there is private. There's homes behind gates, little rental cottages, and generally a more nature-centric tone to the whole thing. It's a kind of place for people that are intentionally looking for just that. You know, everybody's going left, you're going right, whether that's for a weekend visit or over the next 20 years. The lifestyle here is much more about privacy and natural beauty. It's not flashy. There's almost zero luxury condominium presence like you'll see in the downtown areas. And most of what's available is single family. A lot of it sits directly on or near the Gulf simply because of the infrastructure of that geography. As far as median prices go, you're going to sit around $482,000 as of June 2025. And lastly, this is ideal, Manasota Key being, for someone who wants that raw old Florida vibe without as many of the crowds. But you have to be okay at the same time with that balance of limited services and the super southern Englewood location. All right, number 2, let's talk about a really unique spot, and that's called Venice Island. This is one of my personal favorites for people that are looking for that true Florida charm, but maybe a little bit more balanced way than number 1 on the list. Venice feels quaint. It has brick streets. There is vintage architecture, a very real downtown with shops and cafes, and that beach town aesthetic that a lot of people just kind of envision when chasing the dream of moving to the Gulf Coast. But what makes this spot stand out, particularly in the sea of options at your disposal here, is how livable it is. Venice Island is one of the only non-barrier islands in this entire large geography of Southwest Florida, which is going to basically create an environment that you feel way less separated from mainland to the water. And that's an important distinction because even 3 to 4 miles from the barrier islands, if you're not on it, feels like a big difference. So once you get on Venice Island itself, whether that's bike or walk to dinner, whatever it may be, almost 100%, if not 100% of the entire island can do so. The homes here are going to be a little older. Think 1950s ranches, modest bungalows, low-rise condominiums, etc. So you're dealing a little bit with age, but at the same time, nothing's going to be cookie cutter to boot. So, and I know that appeals to a lot of people looking at these kind of historic beach towns. One of the nice things beyond that too, when it comes to cost, not just like near the water, but can walk from your house to the beach. And the last 3 years that I've done this study, not just Sarasota, the entire Gulf Coast of Florida, Venice has been either number 1, number 2, or number 3, I think, every single time. So it's one of the most affordable across the entire state in perspective. If you pull out just the last 12 months of median cost, to give one more data point to you, it's set right around the mid $500,000 at closed price for both condominiums and single family blend. So in summation, Venice Island to me is really perfect for someone who wants more authenticity than it does flash. It doesn't feel like a resort as much as it feels like a place you'd go to and maybe stay for good. Okay, next up, number 3, we're heading to my old stomping grounds, and that is Siesta Key, Florida, which is kind of an opposite energy in a lot of ways to the first 2. If Manasota and Venice Island are where you go to unplug, Siesta Key might be where you go to plug in. Beaches stay busier, the nightlife is more active, Sarasota standards it is, and it's one of the easiest areas, probably I think in perspective terms, to get around on foot. The northern main Siesta Key beach is consistently ranked one of the best public beaches in the entire country. It's wide, you have sugary quartz, white sand that doesn't get hot to the touch, and because of those benefits, you'll feel that in the crowds, especially during season. But the one nice thing to know, it's not on a ton of people's radar in my experience, is that not the island of Siesta Key, but Siesta Key Beach itself is just one of the 3 beaches on the island. So to spread things out a little bit, you do have Crescent in the middle and Turtle to the south. And with all of that popularity comes access. You know, Siesta Key is not a novice town. It's been one of the most in vogue, mature barrier islands we've had around Southwest Florida for a while. So because of that, they've been over time forced to basically evolve this infrastructure. And now today in 2025, you have one of the most functional islands around Sarasota. You can live on a condo in Midnight Pass. You can grab a coffee in Siesta Village, walk to the beach, and be back home in plenty of time for sunset. There is a nice mix of housing types. You have mid-century single families. You might want a typical, Florida-style ranch. There's plenty of condo developments at a various range of ages and newer builds on urban infill to boot. Median price-wise, over the last 12 months, Siesta Key set at just over $1 million. And who Siesta might be ideal for as we finish off this section is someone that I think is after energy, walkability, and water views. And I think Siesta Key is a fantastic example of what the original Sarasotans fell in love with. If this sounds like you, this might be where you want to be. All right, number 4, we are continuing north to a local favorite, Lido Key, and this is where the beach really meets the city. What's so appealing about Lido to me is its proximity. You could be sitting in your residence on the Key, be in downtown for dinner in just 4 miles. You can go visit friends down in our number 3, Siesta Key, in just 15 minutes. And on top of that, you come home and you've got your own kind of bougie little shopping village called St. Armand Circle. 100 plus shops, restaurants, art galleries. It's walkable, it's elevated, a little bit boutique, just nice offering overall. Real estate here is going to be pretty niche, going to be mostly higher end condos with some single family options tucked away. But the residential footprint is it's smaller. It's going to be much smaller than Siesta Key, Longboat, most other places you go. So because of that, it creates a denser, more vertical environment overall. All right, now when it comes to prices in Lido, you're going to be looking at a median around 1.8 million over the last year. And much of that is driven by the lack of things that actually sold. You're talking like 59, 60 total properties. So that obviously skews the numbers a bit, way more niche in that respect overall, but it's driven by luxury towers and a lot of the new construction. This area caters to people who want upscale, turnkey, condo-driven lifestyles, but are especially attracted in combination with that to those urban perks nearby. If that sounds like you value walkability, you value water, and just a more refined feel, that's going to sum it up the most. Without going full retirement resort, Lido Key might check all those boxes. Now, number 5, if you're looking for something that feels maybe like a bit more controlled and upscale version of Siesta Key, Longboat Key is definitely worth a look. This place just has a different tone. The idea here to me is homestead centric. If you had to pick just one spot to spend more than 50% of your year, you're not going to maybe want to see as many big crowds or party beach bars. Instead, you might want golf courses, quiet beach walks, and a lot of homeowners who live here full-time or split their time seasonally. It's HOA heavy. It's definitely not going to be as casual in a way as Siesta or Anna Maria might, but that's, I think, the point. This is for someone who especially values exclusivity. When it comes to housing on this barrier island, it's going to lean more towards condos than most. Some on the beach, some on the bay. That's the benefit of these really narrow islands when it comes to views. Pricing, median-wise, over the last 12 months, set right around 1.25 million. It's not condo specific, because there are single-family homes as well, but they're going to be much fewer and often come at a premium here. Is Longboat Key right for you? If you're looking for a more polished experience where the whole island kind of feels like a private club, if that's your speed, then I think Longboat Key, Florida could offer a lifestyle that would be very hard to replicate anywhere else in the vicinity. All right, now let's look at a cluster of places that I've kind of jammed together to make number 6 on the list. These are the places that sit in between the northernmost tip of Longboat Key and the southernmost tip of Anna Maria Island, and that is the beaches of Bradenton and Holmes. These are the in-between towns that don't get quite the attention of the areas that surround them, but can at the same time offer a ton of value, in my opinion, to the right buyer. You've got mixed zoning, older homes, low-rise condos, and a little bit of everything when it comes to vibe. Some streets feel residential, others feel mini, like resort-style strips. This is where I think you land if you want to be close to the beach, but you don't necessarily need full-on exclusivity. You've got charm, you have walkability, and you have golf views, but you also don't have the price tags that come with Anna Maria Island or the more polished Longboat Keys of the world. So if you're generally flexible on the aesthetics and you want to strike more of a balance of price and proximity, to me, these towns, Holmes and Bradenton, I think are definitely worth a second look or a fresh-eyed view. As far as pricing goes across these areas, over the last 12 months, we saw a closing price that set right around $634,000, depending on proximity to the water and whether that was a condo, single-family, townhome, villa, etc. Last up on my list, let's talk Anna Maria Island, which has one of the most loyal fan bases of any coastal spot in the entire state of Florida. This place is different. It's really especially has that old Florida feel, I think. You have pastel cottages, local shops, a quaint community, and the big thing is the zoning. Anna Maria has done a great job at keeping itself from becoming overrun with luxury high-rise condominiums and commercial expansion. So you still are keeping a lot of that small town feel intact. This place is for someone who wants community over convenience. You are way up north. You're not living right on top of big communal amenity districts or really high-speed anything, in my opinion. Once you're there, you are absolutely there. But if it's for you, it could be absolutely lovely. Think nostalgia. One of the original historic things that made the Sarasota, Florida Metro special. And lastly, for Anna Maria Island, Florida, if that all sounds perfect for you and you're like, what am I in for when it comes to cash? The median price in 2025 set around 1.2 million. All right, folks, that is a wrap for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this version of the Florida Relocation Guide. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Again, my name is Adam Hancock. Subscribing is the best way to see what's coming next. We probably have 150 plus videos planned for the balance of the year. We're going to break down everything from market insights when it comes to outside the state of Florida down to individual breakdowns on new construction neighborhoods. So if you haven't done that, please consider doing so. Couple housekeeping items. If I can assist you in the Southwest Florida real estate market at all, please consider reaching out. I own a residential real estate brokerage. We do everything from buying, selling, investing. We especially specialize in relocation and new construction. I do think there's ways to optimize what other people have done in the past for your benefit in the future. And we really try to take a data-driven approach in an unusual fashion to do so. So if that interests you at all, call, text, email, any way to get a hold of us. It'll be everywhere here. On the website, I have this main hub website called thesunshinestateco.com. We have free relocation guides that you can check out. They're like high-level flip books. You can download them as well as PDFs. One of the best things we put out is probably a once every 30-day email that just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's the latest and greatest of everything. We're not really focused on like random hospitality stuff as much as we are on new construction incentives, new releases, just gonna get you in front of stuff early and often for your benefit. So check that out. There's a 30-day email tab on the website. It's just a quick trade for your email address, basically. And beyond that, there's written word versions of the videos on the site and some other fun stuff that we're gonna continue to add there. Most importantly, thank you guys for taking any of your valuable time to consume my content. We'll see you on the next one.